For your homework, number 56, you should have got 2x cubed minus 1. For 58, you should have got 3s squared minus 2s to the fourth plus 23. For number 60, you should have got 1/12 x to the fourth plus 6x plus 3. For 62, you should have got negative sign plus 2x plus 6. For your worksheet, you should have got 6x plus c, 8x plus c, 3/4 x to the fourth minus 2/3 x cubed plus 5x plus c, 2/5 x to the fifth plus x cubed minus x squared plus c, x cubed minus x squared plus 5x plus c, negative 1 over 3 x cubed plus c, negative 1 over 5x to the fifth plus c, negative 3 over x plus c, 3x to the 4/3 over 4 plus c, 5x to the 7/5 over 7 plus c, 2x to the 5/2 over 5 plus c. Number 12, you should have got 1/3 x cubed plus x plus c. 13, 1/3 x cubed minus 1/2 x squared plus c. 14, 1/2 x squared minus x plus c. 15, 6x to the half plus 2x squared plus c. 16, 8x to the half plus 5 over 2x squared plus c. 17, 14x to the half plus 3/2 x squared plus c. 18, 5 secant x plus c. 19, negative cosine x plus c. And 20, negative 3 cotangent x plus c. So, that was what our homework was. So what we are doing when we're finding the antiderivative, it's helping us to be able to find the area under a curve. So we are going to kind of go backwards, and we're going to find the area under the curve by approximating and using upper and lower sums. So if you see, here's our equation that they give us. And eventually we'll learn the algebraic way to find the area under this curve by using the equation. But right now we're going to use our graph. And I'm going to copy that graph bigger so that you can see. We go up to 10. And then our curve comes down and goes like that. And we're going to go 1 and 2. Okay, so we're at 10 here, 8, 7, how about 6? Okay, so what it's asking you to do for the upper and lower sums is it wants you to, for the upper sum, you're going to make a rectangle that goes above the graph. And we're going to split this into 4 boxes, and we're going to find the area between 0 and 2. So it will tell you what the area is going to be between. So we're going to say between 0 and 2. Those are our x values. And I want you to do 4 boxes. So if we split this into 4 boxes, what is the width of each box? You should say that the width of each box, since we're going 2 across, and we split it into 4 boxes, is 0.5. So each width is 0.5. So to find the area of each of these red boxes, we need the height. We have our widths of 0.5, but we need our height. So on this one, you need to figure out where the, what x value is where your box touches your graph. So our box touches the blue line right here when x is 0. So the height of this first box, you can tell, is 10. So our first box is 0.5 by 10. So the area of our first box is 5. All right, so our next box we have right here is the top where it touches the blue line. And the x value there is 0.5. So if we plug 0.5 into our equation for x, it will give you the y value, which is your height. So if we plug in 0.5 for x, you will get which if you can tell by my graph doesn't look appropriate, but anyways. So we're going to have 0.5 times 8 for our second box, which is 4 units. So the area of our second box is 4 units. Sorry, you guys can't see me writing those numbers on the bottom. Now you can. All right, so for this box, we figure out where it touches the blue line, where the top touches the blue line. It's not touching the blue line over here. It's touching the blue line here. So we figure out what the x value is, and that is when x is 1. So plug in 1, and you will get 5. So we're going to take 0.5 times 5, which is 2.5. Then we're going to do this last box. So we look at the top. Where does the top touch the blue line? Touches the blue line over here. We go down, and that is 1.5 for an x value. So plug in 1.5, and you get approximately 3.08. And so if you take that times 0.5, you get 1.54. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the area of the red boxes. And that will be an approximation of what the area under the curve is. So if we add those together, we will get 5 plus 4 plus 2.5 plus 1.54 is 13.04. So our upper boxes are 13.04. All right, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to go below the line when we draw our box. So pay attention to the green boxes. So we're going to draw a line there, and there's a box. We're going to draw a line there. Notice it matches up with the upper box that's over to the right of it, and then there, and then we have a new little line segment there. Okay, so the widths are still 0.5, but now we need to figure out where our green line touches the blue curve. Well, our green line doesn't touch the blue curve at 0 anymore. It touches our blue curve for our first box at 0.5. So if we plug in 0.5, we get 8. So we're going to take 0.5, because that's the width of our box, times 8, and that will give us 4. So the area of this first box is 4. Notice that was the area of our second box. All right, and the upper side. So we're going to look at this green line. It doesn't touch at 0.5. It touches over here at 1. So we plugged 1 in before, and we got 5. So 0.5 times 5 is 2.5. Notice that was the same as our third box. So our second small box is the same as our third big box. All right, so look at your third box, and it touches the blue line over here. So we're going to plug in 1.5, and when we plugged in 1.5, we got 3.08. So 0.5 times 3.08, and that gives us 1.54. So now for our last little box, it is its own. It doesn't match up with any other boxes. So we look, it's not at 1.5, but it's at 2. So we plug in 2, and you end up getting 2. So we're going to have 2 times 0.5, which is 1. So we're going to add all of these green ones together to get our lower sum, excuse me. So our lower sum is 4 plus 2.5 plus 1.54 plus 1, and you get 9.04. So that is the area of our baby boxes. So the area of our big boxes was 13.04. Our smaller boxes was 9.04. What do you think the blue lines are going to be? Average them. So if we average these two, we get 11.04, and that would be the area underneath our curve. Yay, go, go. So let's try another one. We got y equals 9 minus 1/4 x squared, and it wants us to find the upper and lower sums again. This time we're going between 0 and 6. And do 3 boxes this time. Instead of 4 boxes, we'll do 3. And they'll tell you how many to do. Alright, so if we do our upper ones in red, we need to split this into 3 parts. It's 6 units across, and we want 3 boxes, so each box's width would be, you should say 2. So we're going to make 2 wide, we're going to go to the top, 2 wide, go to the top, 2 wide, go to the top. Alright, so we're 2 wide, so our upper is going to be equal to 2 times, what's the height of that first box? Well, plug in 0, and you will find that it is 9. For the height of the second box, you are going to plug in 2, because that's where the red line touches the graph. So if we plug in 2, we get 8. And then for our last little baby box, if we find where it touches right here, so x is 4, and we plug in 4, we get 5. So plus 2 times 5. So if we figure out what that is, we got 18, we have 16, and we have 10. So all together, we have 44. That is our upper. So now to find our lower, we are going to draw our boxes. Notice the green box will now match with our red old boxes. So if we look at the green box, it's still 2 wide. The height of this box, we aren't going to plug 0 in because that's not where it touches. It touches right here. So if we plug in 2, we will get 8. Notice that was the same as our second box in the upper. Plus 2 times. Okay, for our second box, it's going to be the same as our third box, and we plugged in 4, so we get 5. Plus, this last box is weird because it goes to the origin, or not the origin, but the x-axis, so we don't really even have a box, because if you plug in 6, because we plugged in 2, then we plug in 4, now we're going to plug in 6. If you plug in 6, you get 0. So, we're going to have times 2 times 0. So you end up with 16 plus 10, so you end up with 26. Notice the huge gap. And that is why you can't just use the upper sum by itself and the lower sum by itself. That's why you got to average the two. And if we average 26 and 44, we get 35. So our area is 35. And you can say units squared. So, this is harder because you have to look at the graph and you have to be able to tell, do I plug in 0? Do I plug in my next increment? Where do I start? Please come with questions next time, and we will master this lovely topic.